Hi there. Welcome to Apple World. It's not new to dislike his, new news. At the same time, he beat down Aang. What's the young lady name? He felt Capricorn C was keeping his low about in the event that she was screwing with Kui or not Puffy beat that piece. He beat the hell out of her. It was an Enkopi individual. The N really took a look at that, paid her to settle. But he wouldn't go to prison. You've known about the brilliant rule, haven't you? So it seems as though Diddy is going to find himself mixed up with a totally different wreck, since he is currently taking steps to pursue Suge Knight after Suge spilled a portion of Diddy's most chaotic mysteries. Suge had a ton to say regarding Diddy's ongoing wreck with Cassie. And he didn't keep down well word on the roads. Is that Diddy is currently taking steps to take Suge out for thinking for even a second to denounce him, and Suge better look out on the grounds that Diddy hasn't arrived to play all. Things considered, we wouldn't actually get into garbage like that. You understand what I'm talking about. It's hogwash, which we never accepted, by the way. No doubt, thank you, okay, so you all right. Recollect how I said the entire business is, by all accounts, coming after Diddy. Well, it would seem was exceptionally precise in light of the fact that now Knight has chosen to make a plunge into the dramatization. Let me tell you all the stuff he's inclination about. Diddy is out and out staggering. And in the event that you believed Cassie's regulation was a wild ride, well, lock in Buttercup on the grounds that Suge's most recent disclosures have taken things from terrible to, are you messing with? Me levels now to give you a speedy boost. Esh and Diddy have been squabbling furiously for a decent 30 years now. Their hamburger goes way back to famous by East Coast versus West Coast rap quarrel that happened for a really long time once upon a time. Knight ran with Death Row Records, and he had Tupac Shakur as his fundamental fellow, and on the other side, Diddy was the man behind Terrible Kid Record. And he had Big Deal Smalls in his corner. Now Tupac and Big Deal weren't precisely best buds since they had some serious hamburger of their own going on. It wasn't simply something individual the entire. A passing role team had a significant resentment against everyone that roll with Terrible Kid now. This fight is the explanation that individuals feel like Diddy could have needed Tupac good and gone for good to wipe out the opposition currently. I'm not saying that did he without a doubt requested the hit on Tupac, yet the thing is Key D, the man as of late captured in association with Tupac's homicide, spilled the tea as per him did. He not just called the shots yet, in addition drove $1 million to whoever could cause Tupac to vanish. Well, the story that it flowed was that after Tupac wound up dead, Puffy purportedly gave the cash, I heard, to Zip, yes, and Zip should give the cash to Key. And there, yes, however, he never gave the cash to Yet Say. Thanks to God, he never gave him the cash, right? Consider it. He gave the cash. Pup will be in jail, now cash for recruit for enlist, so express gratitude toward God. It's this a genuine story. I'm not saying okay or no. However, in the event that he would have given the cash, it would have been too high in Puffy to be secured. He indeed even uncovered that the FBI had the option to follow the cash, affirming that Diddy paid it out, yet it didn't get to Key. The FBI said he was a grimy, better believe it. So FP, I let you know Zip kept that cash too. He said, Zip's a filthy everyone cross you. Okay, so allowed me to separate this for you all. He didn't absolutely say that he off-park on Diddy's request that it resembled putting an objective on his own back, yet come on set out to find the underlying story you all. He basically shouted it from the housetops when he spilled about Diddy dropping that slapping 1 million dual abundance on somebody's head in 1996. He needed to pack out, and he needed it terrible, like cause him to vanish. Awful. Even in 2023, dropping that sort of money for somebody's downfall is as yet insane, so you can hardly comprehend the distress once upon a time presently back toward the East Coast versus West Coast bedlam. That was only a hint of something larger. Talk has it that talk was positioning to uncover Diddy's own life in a tune, indicating him being on the DL and during the 90s being exposed. That way was basically a vocation capital punishment. Diddy wasn't going to allow his profession to disinter. 8. You feel me? So this isn't whenever that he first attempted to clear up tales about his sexuality. Recall when Wendy Williams attempted to spill some. Diddy went all on a mission to quieten her and keep his hidden life under W's. Quite a long time ago, her name was Wendy Williams. And she was for all intents and purposes consumed at the stake for discussing such, and presently, it's completely come full at this point. After Wendy Williams had proactively begun the pot, Diddy was strolling in a dangerous situation. The last thing he really wanted was Tupac affirming those bits of gossip. and possibly exposing him, and individuals are saying that is the reason Diddy went into overdrive and needed to close things down and quit. Quick word on the roads is that he decisively arranged Tupac's destruction during a time when Tupac was needs somewhere down in private show. See, on the day Tupac passed, he and Suge were at the MGM Excellentryway with Trevon Path, a piece of their group recognizes a buddy named Child Path, a similar person who purportedly took his death row chain on Diddy's requests. Half a month back, Tupac and the crew hop Child Path, who ends up being Keffy D's nephew, quick 2 or 3 hours, and Tupac had chance. Now obviously it was accepted that the drive-by was vengeance for himself, as well as his kin-hopping Child Path, yet from what we know now, it might appear as though Diddy was more engaged with it. Then we realize after all, he had to safeguard his deal mystery's goodness, and you all remember that cuz. We will return to that shortly once Tupac died. Death Row Records disintegrated like a place of cards. I mean, Tupac was the Mark's prodigy, and when he passed everything went downhill genuine fast. Dr. R.N.S. Neek Home Slice left the Mark and Suge Knight lost his spot in the business. So assuming there's somebody who might be listening with a deep longing to see Diddy crash it ought to well click forward to last week, and Cassie dropped the bomb on Diddy uncovering him for being a genuine piece of work, and all that I simply realized that Suge did a triumph dance at the point when he found out yet by how Suge is in jail carrying out a 28-year punishment for deliberate murder in a 2015 secret run case and is not qualified for parole until 2034. Now Cassie's leet strike us with a crushing weight, yet Suge Knight wasn't precisely surprised he's been on Diddy's ways for a moment. At this point, the stuff that Diddy has purportedly finished to Cassie is sufficient to make you need to save a spot in Suge's prison cell only for Diddy, cause people are genuinely looking at putting him in a correctional facility. The claim was 35 pages in length, and that not too far off is our most memorable hint that it was going to get truly revolting. Tune in, did it follow through on this frightfulness? Yes, it did. I'm talking trigger alerts spread all around the court records, and that was a second H that we were in for a serious wreck. Cassie didn't keep down either, and those pages spilled the subtleties on an entire other level. It resembles the genuine, legitimate variant of a thriller we are in general watching with our jaws on the floor, but nothing might have set us up for the terrible things that we found in those court reports. The claim began by revealing that he attempted misadventure in her own home after she attempted to leave him, frequently punched, kicked, and confused on misadventure in breeze burst lip bruised eyes, and draining force misadventure to participate in personal demonstrations with male SSWS while getting off on it and recording the experiences. Requested that Miss Venter carry his arm in her handbag just to make her anxious and demonstrate how perilous he is, and acquainted Miss Venter the claim continued and Leslie to discuss the outrageous ways that Diddy put hands on Cassie left her hurt genuinely and sincerely, like the time they were on their way from a party and Diddy lashed out for reasons unknown and chose to take it out on Cassie. The court record said Mr. Combs beat Miss Venter over and over in an escalade, including by kicking and hitting her. He constrained her out of the vehicle on Fifth Road in New York City. She was in the long run ready to damnation a taxi and get to her loft in Manhattan. Or the time she and Diddy went to the club and Cassie began a discussion with the music director in the club. And it wasn't like she was attempting to sign with the other man, yet Diddy lashed out that when they left the club, Mr. Combs Miss Venter driving her into a side of the vehicle and puzzling all over. When the vehicle showed up at Mr. Cole's home, Miss Venter endeavored to take off, yet Mr. Combs followed her and continued to again kick her in the face. Miss Venter was BL bountifully and was ID'd into Mr. Cole's home, where she started to hurl from the V episode. Yet you all need to realize the most over-the-top awful part about this is that Diddy didn't attempt to conceal his awful way of behaving from everybody around him. I mean, sure, he went to outrageous LANL to conceal his way of behaving from fans, since he realized that it would have harmed his picture severely, assuming he gotten blamed and uncovered for harming Cassie. The court archive says he frequently left wounds on Cassie's body and face, and to safeguard himself from getting figured out, he would send her to favor lodgings and on extravagant excursions so she could recuperate in private without anybody understanding what really happened. She additionally guaranteed that he frequently hit her so hard that he left welts all over her body, and going by this old picture that fans uncovered,